Welcome. In this video, we will talk about the joker who's now getting energetic. We are talking about ITC, a stock that was almost sleeping, suddenly wakes up, gets up into a run and immediately gets into slumber again. What went wrong for the stock? Results. As soon as the second quarter results was published, ITC goes to bed again. Was the results so bad? Let's look at the numbers. ITC sales for September 2021 quarterly went up by 10%. On the profits, it was even better, growing at 11% compared to September 2020 results. And for FMCG businesses, 10% is fairly good, while ITC is not FMCG business. It is a cigarette FMCG where it gets more than 75% of its profits contributed from cigarette sales. And here is some good news. Contribution of cigarettes to profits for ITC has dropped 2% this quarter. That is, which was at 75.4% has come down to 73.4%, which is good news for investors because they didn't like ITC to have more contribution from cigarettes. So business is doing well. Cigarette business is contributing lesser. Still, stock is subtle. Let's do a segment-wise study to look at what is happening with ITC's businesses. Let's start with cigarettes. Cigarettes being the biggest contributor of revenue and profits for ITC, which is also a biggest concern for its investors because they don't want to own a company that creates health hazards to its consumers, whereas cigarette business generates tons and tons of profits. It belongs to the sin segment where smoking, drinking and gambling are businesses which generate profits in any kind of economic cycle. When man is sad, he consumes alcohol, smokes and goes to gambling. When he is bored, doesn't have anything to do, still uses all these products. When he is happy, again he wants to celebrate by smoking, drinking and playing games. So money spinning from this segment is going to be continuous. So you can invest into these businesses if you are looking for big growth potential. So what is the future for cigarette business in ITC now? As investors don't want more contribution from cigarettes on the profits of ITC, that's what's happening now. Cigarette habit, smoking habit is going down in our country. At present, 27% of our population are smokers, which was 38.5% 10 years back, a drop of 10% in the last 10 years. While doing this study, we had a unique observation. ITC's revenue from cigarette sales, which was at 3,600 crores 10 years back, has gone up to 5,600 crores in the current year, a whopping 55% growth in the last 10 years. Is there a question ringing in our mind? How come when consumption is going down, business has gone up? When we get into a study, we get to know that ITC has increased cigarette prices by 55% in the last 10 years. So nothing different. Cigarette prices went up by 55%, business also has gone up by 55%. Again, the question is not answered, right? While consumption has gone down, how come the volume is same? Okay, prices have gone up 55% and business has also gone up 55%, whereas consumption has gone down 10%. The answer to this question probably is the individuals who are quitting smoking now, probably they were consuming less, and the newer population which is coming in, the per person consumption of cigarette has gone up. The older person who is now quit smoking, maybe he would have smoked around 10 cigarettes a day, and younger generation who are coming to smoking now, probably they are smoking 11 cigarettes. Maybe this is the reason why the numbers have been good. Even in the current quarter, September 21 numbers for ITC's growth on its cigarette sales was up 10%, whereas price increase for this quarter on cigarettes was 13%. This is where a slight difference has been showing up. There is weakness coming up. So cigarette business is likely to go down while it will take a longer time. In this period, there is an expectation that other businesses of ITC will take over the space of cigarette business and also ensure that some amount of profit, of course not the amount of profit that cigarette is generating, will come from other businesses. Some amount of profit is likely to come to the overall ITC's profit numbers. The next segment, FMCG. We call our company FMCG Business. Let's look at what is happening in the FMCG space in the company. Business in FMCG has gone up 3% in this quarter, and margins here is claimed to be 10% by the company, while when we did the study found that margins are less than 7% in an industry where the peers are having more than 15% margin. Here our company is having less than 7% margin. This kind of puts the company in the lowest order in our mind. ITC needs to create some more value add on its products and ensure that they get better margins. So what are the initiatives the company has been doing to grow its business? Along with the sea of products that ITC has in the FMCG space, this quarter they have brought in some unique offerings like Ashirwad Vermicelli, Ashirwad Ghee, Dark Fantasy Vanilla Fills, and Sunfeast All Rounder, which is a cult hit potato biscuit from Bangladesh, which became very popular during COVID times. Along with this, a unique fantasy offering, edible gold filled Fable chocolates. Yes, you get real gold in this chocolate to consume. And along with this, when you go to watch movies in INOX, you get to experience Kitchens of India delicacies along with your movie watching experience. With all these new offerings and more to come, looks like the company will have an edge for itself and create more margins. This is expectation though. The next segment is hotels. Hotel business for ITC has grown 260% in this quarter. Fantastic number, right? While this cannot repeat again. This is a one-off case which has happened due to COVID lockdowns. While there are some positives in the hotels industry, occupancy rates have gone up, and this is because of new concepts like staycations, revenge travel, and the global world opening up after the lockdown. As we are doing the recording, there is the COVID 3.0 that has struck the world and causing terror in the market. If it happens to get into another lockdown, probably there will be a lull again, while it will all come back to normal soon. There is confirmed reports that hotels business will do well among the hotels and airline industry segment. That is, airline business will take a little longer time to recoup and get back to business, whereas hotels business will immediately start generating revenue as the lockdown gets over. ITC has launched 2 new hotels in this quarter, one in Bhubaneswar and one more in Katra. 4 more are on the way, coming out soon, and they have launched 2 new brands, Mementos and Story, to their hotels brand portfolio. In as much as ITC has been spending big money into the hotel segment, the revenue and the profit that the company is generating has been very, very minuscule. ITC has to bring in some value add, create more revenue and profits from this segment. So the talks about hotels business getting hived off into a separate entity, if suppose that is going to happen, it will create very, very poor valuation, because the condition that the hotels business is now will not generate value. So hiving off hotels is not a good option. The next segment, paperboards and packaging. It is one of the biggest segments for ITC, and it kind of supports on its own because of their own business for this segment, and this support is likely to continue for a good long time. Paperboards business contributes to 14% of ITC's total revenue. Business on the revenue as well as profit has been in line with what the company has had in the previous years. Here, one biggest advantage for ITC is the margins. It has 22% margins in this business, which is among the biggest in the industry. And this business contributes to 8% of ITC's total profits. Though packaging business kind of is a best one for ITC, it cannot have big revenues coming from the segment because the sector itself is pretty small. So this sector is likely to contribute to the profits, not in a big way. Next segment is Agri. Agri again is one of the biggest contributors for ITC, with 21% of the total sales coming from Agri Business, while this segment had a degrowth in this quarter. Business went down 7% and profits went up 15%. That was a beauty here. Though business went down, they increased margins and helped themselves have big profits from this sector. So ITC is slowly transitioning itself to become a pure play FMCG business, while it needs to focus on its margins and grow its profits. Cigarette business is likely to come down, while it will not move out overnight. So we have seen all the segments. Along with this, there is IT, which is contributing a minuscule percentage on the revenue. There is talks that IT will be spun out as a separate entity, and recently there are news that ITC is entering into healthcare also. A nasal spray is likely to be launched in this Savlon brand name, and also they have acquired a small e-commerce entity in healthcare. So all these together, though business has been good, profits not been so good is what is putting the stock in the subtle run, keeping it weak for a very long time. Let's look at what is the future for ITC. ITC is planning to spend 15,000 crores on expansions and acquisition of new FMCG brands, 35 new hotels coming up in the Welcome brand, 7 new properties coming up in the new Story brand which was recently launched, and with that a state-of-the-art spices factory to support both domestic and export markets. So all these spends is likely to bring an edge to its business and grow the profits for its investors. Coming to the business side, ITC's sales for September 2021 quarter was 14,250 crores, growing at 10% with a profit margin of 26%. With the same status, September 2022, next year, its sales should be around 15,650 crores. At 26% margins, it should be generating 4,075 crores of profit for that quarter. Multiply that into 4 times, the total profits for next year should be around 16,300 crores. ITC has a policy to distribute 85% of the profits made in the year to its shareholders as dividends. So, with the capital of 1,232 crores, this 85% profit distribution will generate 11 rupees 25 paisa as dividends per share. With the stock price at 230 now, it will convert into a dividend yield of 4.8%, which is close to FD rates. And all these numbers are kind of guaranteed because of the kind of business that ITC is into. This 15% retained profits will go into reserves and fund the expansions. So no debt, full of cash flows. Market will take time to give weightage to these numbers that what we spoke here. That's how market works. It always discounts the future. For ITC, the current numbers kind of not supports or gives strength to give higher valuation. Hence, the stock has been sideways or tight or lower, subdued for a very long time. For investors, if you are looking to have a legacy business in your portfolio which can double up also into generating regular income through dividends, one can look at investing into ITC or have ITC in their portfolio. For people who have already been invested, if you have some space left in your dividend portfolio allocation on the overall investment, you can think of adding ITC into your portfolio. So ITC is not a hot stock today, while at the same time it will not go up in smoke. We can be invested. Of course, it requires a lot of patience. You will have a pride that you own a business which is being used by a products which is being used by all of the people across the country. Happy investing.